present this short paper. Like I said, institutionalizing research to transform artisanal mining in Africa, involvement of the youth. Now, the issue of mining is not something new to Africa. Mining it has a very long history, dating back to pre-colonial era. Africa, as we all know, has to gold, diamond, copper, salt, zinc, uranium, lithium, and all kinds of minerals since ancient civilization. The minerals represented the wealth of the African continent, which created good relationship with Europe, Asia, America, and other parts of the world. The minerals posited the continent as the richest on earth, and that is why history has it that Africa produced the likes of Mansa Musa of Mali, are the richest human being that ever lived in this world. There are stories and records of Egyptian kings, kings from Morocco and other parts, Ghana, Nigeria, and many other parts of the world that were the wealthiest in the world. This made Africa a continent of special interest to Europeans, Asians, and Americans. Now, with that development came the colonial era. Now, from the 19th to mid-20th century, the colonial powers were moved by greed and the propensity to steal and plunder African economy to engage in artisanal mining in most of Africa. The Portuguese in Congo, in Angola, in Namibia, the Dutch in South Africa, Britain in Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, Kenya, the French in Mali, in Niger, Burkina Faso, in Cameroon, and all over the world. Now went all over Africa to engage in mining recklessly, without control. Now the system was destructive, and it created a lot of problems, leaving the African continent poorer. Now, in the post-independence era, from the mid-20th century, most African countries nationalized mining for local ownership and control. However, artisanal mining has continued, and in most cases, informally and illegally. Till date, artisanal mining activities driven by the high cost of minerals, poverty, struggle for wealth, and the quest for means of livelihood have continued unabated. The industry, of course, provides employment to millions of Africa, but it poses environmental challenges, social issues, insecurity, and challenges of governance. This is attributed to corruption and poor leadership in Africa. Corruption and poor leadership are the main causes of negative effects of artisanal mining in the African continent. The sector has not been able to contribute meaningfully to the development of the continent as expected, despite the billions of dollars worth of minerals extracted and shipped out of the continent to Europe, America, and Asia. The more solid minerals are taken out of Africa, the communities get poorer. They are pushed to crisis, to poverty, and death. The recent happening in Nigeria for over 10 years now, in states like Zamfara, in Katsina, Sokoto, some parts of North Central, are typical example. Mining of gold is going on. Mining of diamond, mining of lithium, uranium, and all sorts of minerals that are done illegally. Now, so there are a lot of implications to this. We have loss of revenue in billions because the miners do not pay tax. You can't hold them to account because, in fact, there are even no records at all for us to say this, look at the quantity of what has been mined in Nigeria, or mined in this place. This is the quantity sold, this is the money realized, and this is the tax that is expected from the people involved. The activities are largely illegal, like I mentioned, because there are organized groups that are in mining activities. They are not registered with the relevant authorities. So the humongous wealth that is taken away cannot be accounted for. Now we have a challenge of a poor government regulations. The process of getting licenses has been made cumbersome. There are bureaucratic formalities. Civil servants too connive. They are also a problem, and so on. So only a few benefit from these resources. And then there's this destructive aspect, the use of crude machines. Mining is supposed to be done in a very neat way, where at the end of the day, there will be a conscious effort and a program of land reclamation. When you extract the minerals, of course, the ecosystem is destabilized. And we expect that the system we have in place, reclamation, so that some of these abandoned tin mining pits can be utilized for agriculture, for food production, to generate employment, generate wealth for people. Unfortunately, the foreigners come in, connive with local collaborators, just dig, mine, and go away. I recall later Professor Ali Mazuri once made this observation. He said you go all over Africa and then you see the foreigners, the Europeans, Americans all over, mining, digging. Now, what are they digging? Are they digging for wealth or for the collective burial of the people? Now we can see that it is actually digging for the collective burial of the people, because the communities suffer, they are not in peace. And this has led to banditry, insecurity everywhere. So it is an organized crime. These resources are taken to feed the industries of advanced countries in Europe and America and Asia, leaving Africa in desire. Like I said, no transparency. Government officials are also neck deep in this corruption. So, on the whole process undermines the growth and development of the African economy. We expect full employment. Employment is not there. We expect people will live have a good standard of living, like have roads, electricity, schools, hospitals, and so on. But all these things are not available in Africa. Africans keep going out, even our leaders. Meanwhile, the resources are taken from here. Now, over the years, there are basic institutional frameworks that have been put in place in the areas of mining. We have like Africa Mining Vision. This is a continental framework aimed at promoting sustainable and equitable mining practices, focusing on artisanal and small-scale mining. But the question is, how efficient is this body? There are also regional bodies, like the Economic Community of South Africa States. We have the South African Development Community. All of them are there, aimed at regulating mining activities, formulating policies, and so on. Then we also have national mining codes. When you go to countries like Senegal, Tanzania, and South Africa, we have all these laws and regulations put in place to ensure that there is healthy mining. There are good practices in the sector. Then the mining cadastral system. This is a prominent. You find it in Nigeria, in Tanzania, in Sierra Leone, and so on. But when you look critically, you observe that these agencies are weak, because if they have the required strength, some of these things that we are witnessing will not be there, or maybe something is seriously wrong with them. Then the area of transparency. We have the much talk about extractive industry transparency initiative. We, like in Nigeria, we have it domesticated. NEITI, Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. They have the responsibility of ensuring accountability and transparency in the mining sector. But if you look at the activities and then you look at the reality on ground, all these agencies leave much to be desired. And so we ask, what is the problem? What is the problem? Why do we still have all this? And this is where research comes into being. Research comes into being. Because Africa is affected by all this activity because the mining is indiscriminately done, unprofessionally done, crudely done, and causing environmental degradation, flood, every year flood, soil aridity. The land is no longer fertile for agriculture, with the issues of sicknesses, cancer everywhere, and socio-economic stability. So we need to look at this area of institutionalizing the research in this crucial sector. And of course, it cannot just go. It must go with the participation of the youth. Because anything you do without the involvement of the youth, you are wasting your time. The youth are the ones that have the energy, they have the intellect, and they are the ones that you can prepare for tomorrow. Now, through this using research, we can go into identification of best practices that will help in policy formulation and intervention. And of course, promote sustainable mining practices with regards to good extraction methods, labor standards, and ethical practices. Equally, we have the area of capacity building. Research institutes can provide appropriate training and capacity building for miners, building technical skills, environmental management for businesses in the sector. Then the youth can be used to go into these communities, collect data, also carry out advocacy campaigns. In Nigeria, we have the NYC, for example, has this community services group. They go about enlightening people. They go about sensitizing communities, and so on. Now, the youth have ideas. Many of them are exposed. They are full of innovations. And using the youth can guarantee sustainability and economic empowerment that will provide jobs and boost the local economies. Now, I have a number of recommendations that are here that we can employ in African countries. One, establishing research partnership between institutions, the government, and artisanal mining communities. Most of the time, if you look critically, there is a lacuna. In fact, you see miners going into communities to carry out the activity without even the knowledge of the community. And that's why we have cases of clashes. Then the issue of deliberate planning to train people on how to carry out artisanal mining, to develop a curriculum and training programs. You find that people have minerals in their communities. Outsiders come to mine, but nobody within the environment has the knowledge of those commodities. And all these years, not much has been done in Africa. People have mineral deposits in their areas. They don't know that they have them. They don't even know the uses, not to talk of how to extract them to benefit from those minerals. There is a need also to establish processing plants so that raw materials will no longer be shipped out of Africa. We need to process these minerals here. A Nasarawa state government, for example, in Nigeria, is taking the lead with the establishment of lithium processing plants. Now we expect that the government will go beyond that. We also employ the private sector to also come in, not just processing. The lithium is used for manufacturing batteries. So instead of processing it and taking it out, we want factories that will produce batteries here in Nigeria, so that we have the lithium here, we mine it, we process it, we produce the batteries, and then we sell the finished products to the outside world. That is the only way we can strengthen our economy. And it applies to all other minerals. There's a need to create platforms such as conferences, like the one we're holding, exhibition, to have some fairs for creative and innovative youth to share the ideas and innovation. We need to encourage policy reforms that support sustainable artisanal mining practices to replace colonial policies that are still in place in some countries. Then the application of advanced technology in mineral exploration and mining. We must say no to this crude method. If you go to Zamfara, if you watch video clips of how gold is mined, how uranium is mined, you will pity and weep for the people because they are exposed to cancer and the whole thing is just destructive. And the commodities are taken out of Nigeria, of Africa, everywhere, even in Ghana, in South Africa, and so on. South Africa is even better because they have manufacturing plants sort of here and there. But if you look at other countries, look at Niger, and so on, uranium, and all those things, they cannot process them. And that's why France has been feeding fat on that and making Niger poorer. People with one of the highest mineral resources in the world, uranium, all over, now rank among the poorest nations in the world. It's unfortunate. And South Africa must wake up. And so WiM is carrying out this crusade. It's a welcome development. Community engagement and special projects necessary for peace and stability should be explored. We need to carry people along. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the issue of transparency initiative, like 80, must be adopted to improve revenue tracking and accountability. Money that is realized should be spent within the community. People should see the benefits of whatever they have, not just digging the whole of their communities. Very funny practices are happening. Pathetic, where even people's houses are given to mining companies. Cemeteries are given to mining companies. Dead bodies are exhumed because the dead are lying on the mineral. So they cannot even have peace in their own land. The multi-sector participation, where the government, civil society organization, the private sector, and communities can dialogue and address challenges and promote responsible mining practices. And then mining codes, reforms, and improved regulations are necessary to promote transparency, formalization, and good mining practices. In conclusion, I want to say that the future of the world rests on the effective utilization of minerals, which must be done properly and safely to boost economic growth and development. Artisanal mining holds the key to this future. Lithium, uranium, tantalite, and other minerals used for energy and power found all over Africa must be harnessed properly for the good of the people. This can only be possible through effective research to provide adequate information, capacity building, knowledge, skills, and awareness of the citizen. The youth must drive the process to maximize the gains of our vast resources. Thank you very much.